Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Welcome to my mental health channel where I wipe away the stigma of mental illness by talking about my own struggles having borderline personality disorder. I talk about my struggles having post-traumatic stress disorder, narcissism, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, and I talk about all the different therapies I've been in, like CBT, DBT, psychoanalytic, psychodynamic, and just about a plethora of all other mental health related topics. But I only come on as a former patient of almost 20 years. I am not a licensed therapist. I do not hold a degree in psychology, so I cannot diagnose you or give you any professional advice. And all I ask in return of you is your kindness and respect in the comments below. Please be kind to me, be kind to other people who comment, and be respectful. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button there on the right because it's 100% free. And give it a thumbs up if you like what you see. If you subscribe, you will be notified whenever I have a new video that comes out. Today we're going to talk about emotional neglect in childhood. How many of you have been emotionally neglected in your childhood? It's very hard to recognize emotional neglect. Physical neglect leaves, bruising and scars, black eyes, black and blues. Verbal neglect is easier because if someone calls you names, but emotional neglect, not meeting your emotional needs. And the number one thing about emotional neglect, the really horrific thing about it is not valuing your child's emotions, okay? Whether they're sad, crying, they're angry, they're jealous, invalidating. That's the key word here for emotional neglect. Invalidating your child's emotions. For example, and I've heard this, my son Austin was friends with this boy, I won't say his name, and they took martial art classes together. And a lot of times, this is when they were really young, like maybe 7 or 8 years old. One time, my son's friend got upset and he started crying, and his parents were in the waiting room. I was in the waiting room. A lot of parents wait in the waiting room for their children when they take martial arts. They watch, they watch their children practice and learn, and the teachers there. A lot of times they just drop them off and do shopping or whatever, but I always stayed in the waiting room and watched, and so did this other mother and father. And when he started crying, the parents started calling him names. Don't be such a crybaby. Don't be a wimp. I was just like biting my tongue not to say anything because I thought that was so invalidating. For me, when my son grew up, I would always encourage him to cry, Crying is a catharsis. It releases, your emotions. To try to keep that bottled up inside, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, if you're a man or a woman. Crying is perfectly natural. Crying is very healthy. But these parents invalidated their son by saying, stop your crying, don't be a crybaby. What are you, a wimp? You're acting like a girl. Ever hear someone say that to you? I mean, even in adulthood, people have said that to me. Oh, you can't play basketball. You're throwing like a girl, or you're playing like a girl. Like girls are the inferior sex. They can't play football or basketball or whatever it is as well as boys, right? So As it turns out, that boy that was friends, they're no longer friends now, but they were friends for a while, um, whose parents invalidated his feelings. You know what he does? He didn't go to college, and he washes dishes 2 times a week. That's the job he has. No school, no education, no college, and he washes dishes part-time, living with his parents. My son, who I validated and encouraged to cry, getting a master's degree in September. We're going to Orlando, Florida to celebrate for a week in Disney World. He has a full-time job making very good money, and he's trying to become a doctor. I always encourage my son to, you know, to pour out his heart and soul, pour out his feelings. I allowed him to be angry. I allowed him to cry. I encouraged him to express his feelings. I did not invalidate his feelings. So there's the difference between parenting styles, okay? Right there. That his friend, his parents invalidated their son's feelings, by calling him, don't be a crybaby. What are you, a wimp? Why are you acting like a girl? Right there, and they said that too in front of everybody, okay, in that class, both the children and the parents, because I was there, I heard it, and I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. I don't like to tell people how to parent, because some parents believe in spanking. I don't, okay? All that teaches is violence. There's other ways to reprimand a child by taking away things that they like. No video games, no television, no computer. You don't ever lay a hand on a child. But there are parents who spank their child. I think that's physical abuse right there. I don't believe in it. I never spanked my son. Not once. And he turned out to be a fine young man. Now, you could probably disagree and say that, whatever. And that's not the point of this video. And I'm not going to get into the spanking in this video. This is about emotional neglect. Have you ever had someone say to you as a child, why are you crying? I'll give you something to cry about. Now, not only is that invalidating your feelings, but that's threatening you. It's threatening you. Don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about. That's a threat. I don't believe in threatening children, okay? Adults are big people. Children are small people. I don't think that is fair. I think it's abuse. All right? You can disagree with me, and that's what the comments are there down below. We can have differences of opinion, like I said, but we do need to keep respect and kindness always. So what happens when you're invalidated, emotionally neglected like that? Your feelings are not validated. You grow up, repressing your feelings. You can go to one or two ways. You can be void of feelings, turn into a drug addict or alcoholic by drowning those feelings that you were never taught to properly express because you were taught shame. You're a crybaby, So you can drown those feelings in substances, or you could grow up being very aggressive, end up being violent, overly, or it could end up having a personality disorder. You could grow up being narcissistic, or you could grow up having borderline personality disorder like me. See, so it's not a good way to raise your children. What can you do if you were emotionally neglected as an adult? You can probably, seek help. None of the therapists I saw ever helped me. They only abused me, and you can see that in other videos. But you could first recognize it, watch videos like this and other videos that are out there on YouTube, other platforms that talk about it. Recognize that it happened to you in your life, and that's a good first step. And then trying to be in touch with your feelings, allowing yourself to cry, which is perfectly natural. Allowing yourself to have the feelings that your parents would never allow you. That's the first step as an adult if you've been emotionally neglected as a child. Allowing yourself to have those feelings. And it takes some time to tap into those feelings. But by watching motivational videos and engaging with other people, like I try to have people engage with my channel in the comments, engage with me, engage with each other. And I always appreciate if you share your own personal struggles with me. I'm not trying to, push anyone into doing that, but I always appreciate if you do that. So yeah, there's videos, watching videos, writing, allowing yourself for the first time to feel. It might be difficult, when you've been shamed all your life and had your feelings invalidated, to allow yourself to do that. But getting just in touch with those feelings is a first step. Try to get in touch with your feelings, and probably keeping a journal, writing about it. That might be another way to, if you can't voice it, you can try to put it in writing and write about it. So that's just a couple of, examples, but I hope this, it wasn't your fault that your parents invalidated you. So it's going to be harder as an adult to get in touch with those feelings. But it's never too late to get in touch with your feelings. It isn't. Look at me. It took a long time to get where I am right now. All right. Let's continue to talk about it. Until next time, take care.